Good morning, everyone. So glad to be back on June 18th, the World Day of Sustainable Gastronomy, with our Med Talk. I'm so sorry for my voice because I have a little bit of cough, but I'm sure we're going to be able to highlight the voices of the Mediterranean diet today with our Med Talk. I'm so glad, and I want to invite on stage together with me some of our friends of the other emblematic communities of the Mediterranean diet. Today, it's a very important day for us because, of course, celebrating sustainable gastronomy for us is something deeply connected with the essence and the values of our UNESCO intangible heritage, the Mediterranean diet. We're talking about a living heritage that is highlighting something that is absolutely crucial for our human health, but also for preserving the cultural and biodiversity. And of course, I cannot do all of that by myself. And I want to have here with me some friends that are going to be connected from Greece. Eleni, please jump on board, jump on. Good
Hello,
morning from Maniat Icon Foundation, our focal point directly from Greece. Then, Yelena, our friends coming from, okay, Yelena, you're here.
yes, hello,
Okay.
hello.
Oh, Yelena, good to have you here. With Yelena, we have been sharing many adventures from the United Nations up to the celebrations of our amazing heritage Mediterranean diet. And then I want to have here on board also Blanca Radio from Spain. Blanca? Okay, she's gonna jump as soon as she's going to reconnect. Good. So, of course, today we're gonna celebrate here at the campus in Polica with our students, with some of our knowledge keepers. And this week for us is a very important week because every year we decided to celebrate the week of the World Day of Sustainable Gastronomy, hosting at the campus a boot camp focused on gastro diplomacy, because we strongly believe that everyone is connected with food. Our knowledge keepers, the grandmas and grandpas, the farmers, the fishermen, the chefs, all the one who are cooking, plays a very critical role. And we strongly believe in the power of food as a tool to create policies and diplomacy at every level. But of course, we would love also to hear from all the other emblematic communities what are the best practices and how you in your country you are embedding and living this concept of sustainable gastronomy, representing in your country what is the emblematic, let's say, the heritage of Mediterranean diet. I would say let's start from Croatia. Yelena.
Hello, nice to be back, to see you all. In some point, I will maybe stop the cam because I'm in office and my colleagues will be here shortly, so I will stay on the headphones with you. It's so nice to see you and to hear this. I think this is a good format to share ideas and to boost ourselves, to boost our energy and to inspire each other. And so it's good to see you all.
Thank you so much, Yelena. Thank you so much. And Eleni, let's start to really connect some of the, say, pillars of our shared heritage. I know that from Coroni, you are doing a lot of activities, and that Foundation Maniat Icon is working since many, many, many years, I would say decades, on safeguarding and transferring Mediterranean diet to the next generations. So I want to hear from you some best practices or cases that can really people understand what we're talking about when we're talking about sustainable gastronomy.
Well, to start with, I want to say hello to everyone. Sarah, I think you're doing a very good job. Really, you're trying your best and you have given something really brilliant and something to look forward to, as well as all the other members. As for your voice, I think it's a very charming voice, in spite of the point that you have a cough. Well, but to start with, my complaint is for a celebration, we had to open champagnes. Where is the champagne? That's a celebration, I'm sorry. And it's in the diet, and it's in the Mediterranean diet. Why? Grapes. So, first point. Now, what is a Mediterranean diet? I'm going to tell you about Greece. That is, it is all around three things. Gastronomy in Greece means food, cooking, the art of cooking, using the local products. It's tradition linked by all means to what we eat. And third of all, it is the history, which we should not forget. We have actually, some centuries ago, let us say before Christ, a book, Hypnos Sophistes. And it's not one book, it's about 14 volumes. And it's all the ancient people, what they used to eat, and how they used to connect food with tradition and with history. Now, that's what I can say, that we have to continue doing that thing, but maybe recently we've got some deficiencies. Not, of course, worldwide deficiencies in what we eat, how we are fed, what we use, which are unhealthy products and for easy use. But is that the reason to give to the nations what is not healthy and not to lead them to the correct passage? Happily, we've got the 7 communities that are really trying hard, and congratulations once again to all these communities and what they are trying, I believe, very hard to do. Well, that's what I wanted to say for the time being. Oh, and I forgot to say that the triptych, that is the products of Coroni, which I believe most of the other emblematic communities must have, are the raisins, especially the oil, and it is renowned all through the world, Coroneiko lavi, Coroneiko oil, and what else? The figs, the olives, which are really products of nature and clean. And I can say, if you don't, I don't want to take your time, but I just wanted to mention that from 1993, because I was involved in healthy food, involved in yoga, involved in different breathing systems, but especially food, I had written in 1993, which became a bestseller, it was actually edited 5 times, the book Kalievston. Kalievston does not exist in dictionaries. I have invented the word, and it is Kali, which means good, Yevston, tastes. Now, it's not nice as Kalievston, good tastes, translated, but actually it is that thing. It is tasty food. And it was that book which was only for healthy diet, vegetarian. So you can understand that that time, 1993, everybody who would be a vegetarian was supposed to, what a shame, what is she eating? How does she live? It's impossible. And well, anyway, it was 5 times re-edited. And the other book, because of UNESCO and because where we had gone into the community of the emblematic communities, and Coroni was elected as how to say to represent the Mediterranean diet, I had written, I said, oh, they're coming to Greece, all these members, but what do we have to offer? Only traditions and dances and songs, and okay, some food and etc. So let us do something that will remain. And I wrote my second book Koroneiko Symbosio, that is, which was translated into English. So it's a Greek English edition. Koroneiko Symbosio is a symposium of Koroni, and it applied to all the recipes and the traditions linked to them. And of course, it was also very popular and sold out. And we're thinking of re-editing it again. Well, thank you very much for your time. That was what I wanted to say. I've been listening to
Thank you
your.
so much. Thank you so much. I want to share for the people who are here in the live with us. Let's see if I can do it right now. I would love to share this presentation, just this slide, just to let people understand what we're talking about when we're talking about the 7 emblematic communities of the Mediterranean diet. Because I think that celebrating the World Day of Sustainable Gastronomy have embedded some values that are essential for Mediterranean diet. And one that is probably the most important one is celebrating cultural and biodiversity. And if you see this map, you see that Mediterranean diet is a celebration of peace, is a celebration of biodiversity, is a celebration of something that is shared. And I think that not many people have clear on mind that this is really something that represent a value that needs to be preserved and spread. Overall, if we are thinking about what's the geopolitical scenario where we are living in this time in history, and what are also the major challenges that we are facing, we think about climate issues, if we think about how climate, for example, is impacting on our agricultural production, if you think about the olive oil production that was dropping in some countries down by 70%.
Yes,
We're thinking about something that is strictly interconnected with not only what we're eating and the quality of our health, but also the health and the safety and the security of the
right.
environment where we are living. So,
Uh,
thinking about sustainable gastronomy, I think is something that since 2017 has been spread with this day that you were right. Celebration needs champagne, need to toast, need to celebrate really something.
Pizza,
Not a lot to
pizza.
celebrate, I would say, probably. But
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that these days are great to create awareness because nobody
Yes.
was talking about sustainability and gastronomy. And if we're talking about Mediterranean diet, we're talking about creativity in gastronomy, but also sustainability.
That's it. Can I add something else,
Of
please?
course, yes.
So, uh, in one meeting, I think it was a previous or the one before that thing, I had suggested that maybe each emblematic country uh, could give us. Look, I was thinking of the link of life. What is the link of life? We are born, we grow up, and the most important point is birth, growing up, that's in marriage, happy moments, and death. That's a circle of life. And I suggested that maybe each emblematic community could write, could give us a recipe about these moments. What do we do when somebody gets married? What sort of festivity? Not many words, just a recipe, and linked with uh, a ballada, with a song, a traditional song, you see. And then afterwards, baptism, let's say, marriage. When somebody gets married, what do we offer? And linked with a story and with a song. To which song, not only the rhythm, not only the words, but also the music. You know, in writing the sort of
The link.
yeah, The link for someone to hear. Yeah, no, not to hear. No, we cannot because it's too expensive. Just partitura, una partitura, la partitura. Not all of it, but half of the partitura. And then after that, death. When it's death, when somebody dies, what do we do? So we have cereals. We give sort of cereals. But what does the cereal represent? We put different ingredients. So each ingredient represents something, and so onwards. I mean, just a few words, so that maybe we could do that thing and do the link, and then afterwards, we as a Badiatakion Foundation would be very glad to take all the texts, gather them, see them, having the experience, I'm sorry, of writing. So, but if anybody else wishes to do the same thing, it's all right. And we're talking, we can organize it, but you're clever enough, you can organize it, I'm sorry. So I won't speak anymore, I promise, for 10 minutes. Okay.
No, I think this is a great idea. Also, because when we're talking about what is really our role as emblematic communities and as focal points, and I'm glad you're here and you are sharing ideas because people sometimes don't understand what's the role of emblematic communities. Of course, I think we have a mandate. That is the mandate of safeguarding a living heritage, keeping it alive, but overall spreading this living heritage within every generation, because it's something that needs to be spread from kids in schools up to the community, but also to spread it at the geographical level. Because sometimes we see that if I see here in Polica, everybody is living the Mediterranean diet. This is their way of living, their attitude to life. But as soon as you go far away from Cilento, the Mediterranean diet, the authentic one, is lost. And so, of course, our message and our mission is really to keep it alive, but to keep it alive and taking Mediterranean diet from now, let's say, no, from the roots to now, and from now to the future.
To the future. Yeah.
And this is, of course, something that needs to deal with everything that is touching our life. So I'm thinking about artificial intelligence, technologies, and things that we cannot avoid because are going to be present in our daily life. So, of course, the big challenge now is to deal with this, the challenges of our era, but also to adapt and preserve the authenticity of what it is Mediterranean diet. Because the risk is that it's going to be just a big marketing campaign that big companies, big food producers are going to adopt to sell more. Because if you see the tons of articles that every day are spread about Mediterranean diet to become thinner, to become smarter, to become better. But nobody is focusing on what you were saying before. So the cultural heritage related to Mediterranean diet. And nobody probably have even spent time in reading the nomination, the dossier that has been written to support the fact that Mediterranean diet was declared as one of the intangible heritage to preserve. So I'm really fascinated and motivated to join forces with all of you, members of this amazing community of the Mediterranean diet. And we see that we are increasing also exchanges and, of course, opportunity for our youth to bring Mediterranean diet in their daily life. And there is something that maybe is interesting to share. I want to share another slide that is strictly connected with what we are trying to represent when we're talking about Mediterranean diet. First of all, is the roots of Mediterranean diet. Second, how we can connect Mediterranean diet to the future, because probably this is something that people want to better understand, because sometimes it seems something very ephemeral, something very up on earth. They understand well when they're eating the Mediterranean diet, but sometimes they're not understanding how they can implement it in their daily life. And so I want to share with you this slide that is basically, first of all, sharing the reason why we're talking about deep roots, because we're talking about something that belongs from Magna Graecia, and we aim here in Polica to connect Mediterranean diet with Parmenides, with the Eleatic school, with something that belongs from our history. And then, of course, the Salernitane Musical School and Ansel and Margaret Keyes that were studying Mediterranean diet, spreading Mediterranean diet at the global level, starting talking about the concept of eating well and staying well. But then afterwards, the SDGs in 2015 came to life. And with the SDGs, we started claiming the concept of integral ecological development, and of course, something that is strictly connected with the approach of Mediterranean diet, an approach that we see represents so much the way of developing territories in the emblematic communities of Mediterranean diet, where there is a political vision that, but let's say, an identity that is so strong in the preservation of the essential elements of earth, protecting biodiversity, soil, water, then connecting this to human health. Then the pillar of convivium, the social perspective, and the cultural pillar. And then, of course, everything that is connected with sustainability and climate change and green energy, but also everything that is connected to our approach to wasting nothing. Because let's remember that the gastronomical approach of Mediterranean diet is embedding many principles. One of them is the fact that is a gastronomy that is absolutely fighting food waste. And last but not least, thinking about the principle of the elements that is connecting Mediterranean diet with what we aim to call the algorithm of longevity. And we aim to develop even more the concept of Ansel Keys that was saying, eat well and stay well, connecting this to something that is very much linked to the World Day of Gastronomy, that is the message of saving the planet. So we aim to define Mediterranean diet kind of as the algorithm of longevity. Eat well, stay well, and save the planet. This is the algorithm of living well that is absolutely embedded in the essence of Mediterranean diet.
Very good. Correct. I agree with you.
And so I think that joining forces with you and with the other emblematic communities now is needed. Has never been so needed like nowadays. So I embrace your proposal. I will spread them even more with all the other emblematic communities. I'm so sorry that actually Yelena had troubles, technical issues, and she cannot connect anymore, as well as our friends from Spain. But I'm sure that on November 16th, while we're going to celebrate, really celebrate our Mediterranean diet, maybe we're going to have something interesting to share. And I look forward to have this shared document, this shared book representing all of our identities. And I thank you so much for the proposal, because I think that this is a great idea that needs to be spread even more within the network of the emblematic communities. Thank you so much.
Sarah, before we close, can I just add something?
Of course. Of course.
Now, that was really a very nice gathering, and I liked everything that you said, to which I agree absolutely. But then on the other side, I'm thinking of this thing. All right, it's nice here to stay and to exchange ideas, but then what do we do personally? That is, the point is not only to stay in words and written things, but how to propagate it. Now, I'm going to ask you something. How much do we care? Have we ever cared? Have we ever thought about what we eat and spreading what we eat with the vitamins intake? One. Another thing, several points which are really for everyday health. Do we know how to cook? That's the second point. It is. You see that they fry fish and they fry it, they over fry it. And then they use, especially in restaurants, they use this oil to fry again and to fry again. So where is the health in Mediterranean diet if they are not aware of, they are not punished for doing that thing because it's unhealthy? Then a very important thing is, do we wash all our fruit and whatever we get, vegetables, because they're full of medicines and pesticides, etc. Do we know? I mean, these are the points that they have to learn. And most important, Sarah, is the fact, I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you care about your children? Yes. Do you care about the other children? Yes. Have you been to the school? Have you been to a canteen of a school? And have you seen the rubbish that is given? So, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking to my collaborator here, to Mr. Pasha.
16th
No,
November.
no, she's asking about November. It's
You mentioned a date about the 16th of November. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. No, it's okay. Thank you. Is it the event, the gathering in Tavira, or something else?
Now there are going to be two gatherings. We are organizing the International Summit on Mediterranean. And Yelena is back. Ciao, Yelena.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's going to be another event that is going to be our intergovernmental meeting afterwards in Tavira.
Okay, so on the 16th, you said it is your own meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be an international summit on Mediterranean diet with scientists coming from all over the world.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about Mediterranean diet also from the policy implementation perspective, touching also on many topics that Eleni was mentioning now. School meal plans, canteen, education, and how we're taking Mediterranean diet as a source of inspiration to really impact on the health of people. And teaching and education, absolutely in culinary school, where the bad habits come from. It's for us one of the missions. So thank you for reminding that, Eleni.
We have to fight because there are interests, economical interests involved. So if I have a canteen and I give rubbish, I wouldn't like to change it to healthy, which I don't have any profit. So we are starting a big fight if we want to get involved, if we really care. So are we ready to fight? Are we ready?
Let's say we are ready to change things from the inside, because this is the most important thing.
Sarah, mi scusi, change starts from our own selves. If we do not change our concept and the way we think and what we really need to do and are ready for it, forget it.
I completely agree. I changed completely my life and I moved to Polica and I'm doing this every single day of my life. So I completely agree with you. But Elena, you just get back. So I would love to hear also
sorry,
from you.
Technical guy came to me and fixed the thing. I completely agree with Elena's concept, and I think it's important, and it's come from my experience and my expertise as ethnologist. But I want to also stress one thing when we talk about schools, importance of and kindergartens, because I believe in very early education, and these topics and these ideas should be given to the children in very early age to make them more sensible in the future, because children will influence their parents in a way. the role of school gardens is very important, and I think there is a good perspective to help people to make them more stronger, to build even very tiny gardens can be a beautiful sustainability teaching and environmental teaching tool. So I've been to some field research recently on Hvar, and they're really doing a great job. Even with kindergartens, children are learning how to prune olives. And I was surprised because children age 4 or 5 with scissors, cutting the branches. I believe that there's a good base to because many children are not in touch with nature. We are losing the skills, material skills of growing food, and we are dependent then on the industry, on the food distribution, global food networks, and so on. So maybe we could think of some toolkit or something, learning from our friend in Bronx, which is food justice project, but also in line with the pillars of Mediterranean diet idea. So maybe there was some front that could be open about that. And also, I returned from Portugal yesterday, and George Queiroz says hi, our old partner from Portugal and Tavira. And his book on Mediterranean diet is about to be published for the 3rd edition. So Portuguese are still doing a very important popularization of the Mediterranean diet in general public. So for now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we need to connect and highlight even more. And I think that, say, mentioning who is representing the coalition this year, Portugal. Portugal has been working really well in the past and also now, because in Portugal, they have been able to embed so much the concept of Mediterranean diet, both at the school level and also at the agricultural policy development level. So I think that sharing even more all of the best practices, like you were sharing now about kindergarten and the importance to start from kindergarten, and many other examples, and what Eleni was saying about culinary school and fighting the one that are not cooking in the right way and not spreading the right concepts and so on, is something that we need absolutely to do more and more. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. This thought and these ideas and these best practices, and let's not take say 4 months and wait for November and December to reconnect and spread them. We have our monthly meeting of the Med Talk, so we are absolutely eager to learn more from voices of the Mediterranean diet, to spread also examples that other people can take and implement in their countries or within their communities.
Great.
So thank you so much. Let's go back. I go with my students to make the Sustainable Gastronomy Day, not celebrate, make the Sustainable Gastronomy Day and work with them. And I wish you all to celebrate also in the best way this day with your communities, within the emblematic communities of Mediterranean diet. Thank you so much for being with us, to all the audience and all the friends that are following this amazing network. Thank you.
Thank you, Eleni. Hope to talk to you soon.
Have a lovely
That's great.
summer. Oh.
You too.
You too. Bye.
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 Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.